We'll get to that. I don't know how much time I want to dedicate enough time that I take care of the situation responsibly. So we might talk about it tomorrow because I don't want to do it just a little bit today. So yeah. Aw, thanks, Chapman.
I am here with the mayor-elect of New York City, Zohran Mamdani. Congratulations.
Oh yeah,
Thanks
these
for coming
tomatoes.
in.
Thank you very much for having me.
You broke a lot of new ground last night. First Muslim mayor of New York, first Democratic Socialist, first mayor to win more than 1 million votes in, 3 decades, youngest mayor in more than a century. So what is the message and the mandate behind that?
The message is about transforming the most expensive city in the United States of America into one that's affordable for each and every New Yorker. And what New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs gave us last night was a mandate to pursue the most ambitious affordability agenda the city has seen since the days of Fiorello LaGuardia. And it's time that we start to deliver it.
Well, let's dig into that, because you're talking about a rent freeze, you're talking about free buses, you're talking about free childcare. Can you do that without raising taxes?
I think you can do that, and I think you have to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers who make more than $1 million a year, and you do that by raising taxes by them 2%. And then you also increase the corporate tax of New York State to match that of New Jersey. So that takes us from about 7.25 to about 11.5%, which is what we see in New Jersey. These things together raise about $9 billion, which more than pays for our economic agenda and also starts to Trump-proof our city.
But are you worried that could drive a lot of job creators out of New York?
So what I've heard from a number of business leaders is that the affordability crisis is also affecting their ability to attract and retain talent. The city's inability to provide childcare means that businesses often have to provide stipends for that childcare. Right now, the absence of universal childcare means that a family will pay around $22,500 a year, which is more money than many of them would spend if they sent that same kid to college 18 years later. And it is time for city government to actually step up to the responsibility that it has.
Not just the city government, that kind of a tax increase is going to require the state as well, including the governor, Kathy Hochul. Is she on board?
You know, I'm proud to have Governor Kathy Hochul.
Okay, I know that Zohran is totally right and he's totally based and he's spitting and he actually understands when to use propaganda and when to not goalpost and dog whistle. And I respect the shit out of him for doing it because it's the right thing to do. We want our politicians to be able to dog whistle correctly to their audiences and to other people's audiences and to like the general public and to the constituents. And he has to play nice when he has to play nice. But I fucking hate Kathy Hochul so much. I fucking hate this woman so much. Like, can I please show all of you? I don't know how many of you saw her saying, Kathy Hochul under a palm tree in Puerto Rico is greeted with chants of tax the rich when she enters. I hear you, she says, adding that she's the type of person who, the more you push me, the less I'm going to do what you want. Great political instinct. It's always politically and electorally prudent to remind your constituents that you'll purposefully refuse to do what they want you to do if they democratically externalize what they want you to do. Like, you are a fucking idiot. You are a hack. You are a joke, Kathy Hochul. Vote for me so I can do what you want me to. You want me to tax the rich? Well, you know, I'm the type of person that when you want me to do something, I don't want to do it. Teehee. Hello? You're a politician! Like, I understand, like, a celebrity saying this or, like, an actor. Like, at least it makes sense. Like, Doja Cat, listen, I don't know why the fuck she's wearing Sam Hyde shirts. I know why. It's because she's a 4chaner. I know. Her music is just, like, fire. I get it. But anyways, going back for a second to the greater point. At least it makes sense. Doja Cat's like, I'm going to make music, bitch. You don't like me? Don't listen. You're a politician you are literally a public servant. You serve the public. What do you mean? You don't like it? Leave. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my God. So I'm sorry. I understand and I totally commend Zohran for powering through and not shitting on Kathy Hochul because it's the correct play for him. And it's the correct play for him, at least in the short term. But man, do I fucking hate Kathy Hochul.
Hochel's endorsement and the endorsement of our agenda, specifically universal childcare. And I've said time and again, I think these are the two most direct and straightforward ways to raise this revenue. If there are other ways to raise this funds, the most important thing is that we actually fund this agenda. You said that President Trump was watching you last night. It appears that he was watching you.
Also, calling out Trump as a hate watcher is crazy.
Also appears that he and other Republicans are trying to make you the poster boy of the Democratic Party. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, calls you a true extremist and a Marxist. And he says now every House Democrat incumbent and candidate will co-own Mamdani's disastrous record in the 2026 midterms. How do you respond to that?
Well, I'm looking forward to showing the power of an example here in New York City, an example of what it means to not just diagnose the despair in working people's lives as the cost of living crisis, but to deliver on it. And that's the contrast between myself and President Trump. He's someone who ran an entire presidential campaign on the promise of cheaper groceries and is now as the president, making it harder for Americans to afford those groceries by cutting SNAP benefits.
You worried he's going to crack down on New York City, maybe even do what he's done and tried to do in Portland and other cities, call the National Guard in?
You know, I think that his threats are inevitable. I also know that it's time we actually call this for what it is. This has nothing to do with safety. It has to do with intimidation. If it was safety, President Trump would be threatening to deploy the National Guard to the top 10 states of crime, 8 out of which are all Republican-led, but because of that party, he won't actually be doing so.
So you say you won't be intimidated. How do you stand up to it?
I think there's a number of ways. The first thing is you actually utilize the courts. You stop treating things as being law just by virtue of the fact that President Trump is saying them. You can look at the example of California, where you find the Attorney General, the Governor, and the Mayor of LA coming together, filing a lawsuit in opposition to the deployment of the National Guard. A federal judge found in their favor, and the Attorney General estimated that for every dollar they spent, they recovered more than $30,000 in funds that would have otherwise been seized by the federal government.
How about crime?
Which, by the way, has been like literally the entire argument for everyone who's everyone who believes in housing first policy. Surprise, surprise. I know, shocking. If you give homeless people homes, they can get back on their feet sooner and they become less of, if you're so much of a soulless fuck that you don't care about people suffering, guess what? It is economically, it is financially beneficial for everyone, for the economy and for all the taxpayers to just house them. Because then they get to re-enter the job market. Then they get to start taking care of themselves instead of relying on government programs that they can't pay for. Whoa, crazy. I know, on one hand, you can just have empathy for other human beings. But if that's too hard, how about you just care about what makes financial sense? And like housing people first just makes financial sense.
Convinced Commissioner Tisch to stay on the police commissioner?
You know, I've made my decision to retain Commissioner Tisch, and I've done so because Eric Adams had stacked the upper echelons of the NYPD with incompetence and corruption. She came in, started to tackle that, deliver accountability, and reduce crime across the 5 boroughs. That is what we would build upon under a Mamdani administration, in addition to creating a Department of Community Safety to tackle the mental health and homelessness crisis head on.
You've made your decision. Has she made hers?
I am looking forward to continue to having conversations with her and to assembling a government of the best and the brightest to deliver on this agenda.
You know, last night you also said you wanted to reach out to New Yorkers who didn't vote for you. Probably highest on that list is Jewish New Yorkers. It looks like there was about a 30-point gap, according to the exit polls, between you and former Governor Cuomo. How do you convince those voters that your vision of New York includes them and your victory is not a threat to them?
He's literally, okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting soy about Mamdani, and every time someone's like, I'm getting stunlocked and one guide on behalf of Mamdani. Every time someone says, well, what do you think about the fact that everyone thinks you're an anti-Semitic piece of shit and you're bringing Sharia law and you're a communist dictator? It's like, well, we're going to stay calm. We're not going to get one guide. I'm not even the person getting one guide, and I'm getting one guide. But it's so ridiculous to even ask this fucking question, because the entire time that Mamdani's been running, he's been saying, I want to build a New York that works for everyone, regardless of who you vote for. I don't want to just help the people who want to vote for me. I want to help everyone.
I was on the M57 not too long ago, which is the slowest bus in New York City, 4.9 miles an hour. And I was seated next to a woman who introduced herself to me as a speech therapist. And she told me that she was Jewish, and she said that her daughter is a huge fan in phone banks from college and that she wasn't so sure. And I asked her to share, and she shared her thoughts about what it also means to be Jewish in New York City today and the scourge of anti-Semitism that often worries her, that she was trying to sell her apartment. A realtor told her to put away, in her words, the Jewish books on her bookshelf. And I told her that this was unacceptable, that we were fighting for a city that didn't just protect Jewish New Yorkers, but celebrated and cherished those same New Yorkers. And I'm looking forward to being the mayor for every single person that calls the city home, and showing that my job is not to remake City Hall in my image, but rather in the image of struggling New Yorkers. And that means New Yorkers will find themselves and their struggles in people who have decision-making power across my administration.
You said a lot of that during the campaign, but it didn't seem to work with this group of voters. What more can you do now?
Well, I think there are a lot of voters for whom the trust comes from the actions that you actually take. Many have have understandably been disappointed by politics and the promises that have been made by many before me. Now my opportunity is actually to deliver as the next mayor of the city.
I was struck by a tweet that came out last night on X from Bill Ackman, who was one of your biggest opponents in the campaign. Billionaire, spent a lot of money trying to defeat you, but he did congratulate you and say he wants you to call on him to help New York. What are you going to call on him to do?
Well, I appreciated his words, and I think what I find is that there is a needed commitment from leaders of the city to speak and work with anyone who is committed to lowering the cost of living in the city, and that's something that I will fulfill.
Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Oz linking obesity to dementia while Trump is slumped over at his desk. Like, even his own party are his ops, dude. Even the people in his party, dude. Also, I'm so sorry I didn't say thank you, but Sawyer, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Scarlett, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Cassie, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Wait, is it your birthday today? It is my birthday today. Real and fact-checked by a patriot. It is my birthday today. Wait, why can't I hear this?
Because they can breathe is when people can sleep again, because they can breathe is when they go to bed. Folks whose knees don't hurt, people who don't have heart attacks, renal failure, dementia, all the things we know are associated with obesity and much more. This people.
Dude, saying this while Trump is just like about to fucking keel or pass out in his chair, the only person sitting. Oh no. No, dude, stop. Oh God. All right, let's continue. I'm presenting Exhibit A. Happy birthday. We appreciate you for creating such an amazing space. Thanks. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the sweet happy birthday messages, everybody. I have a great weekend planned that I think will be fun, that I think you guys will like. If I can put together last minute some guest stars to just show up and do stuff, that would be really cool. But we'll see. We'll see. But thanks. Thank you guys. And if you would like to give me a little birthday present that I would appreciate a great deal, you can donate to the GoFundMe. Any amount helps. $5, $10, whatever, $20, whatever you can afford. I appreciate it. And as a show of thanks, every $100 we reach, I will suffer a tomato because I fucking hate raw tomatoes. It's the only food that I hate, which means it's the perfect opportunity to exposure therapy myself to enough tomatoes to not hate them anymore. Because there's no other way I will ever get myself to like tomatoes. So thank you. Matter, thank you so much for the 1,000 biddies. Subtle Fraudulent, thank you for the 19 month. Thank you for the 40 months, just a little guy. Thanks, guys. Thank you. You've had 425 tomatoes. Well, we started doing it like a while ago, and then we took a break. So I think in total, I've had like maybe 100 tomatoes. So yeah. But yeah, thank you. Thank you. I haven't tuned in for so long. What's the GoFundMe for? Well, there is a website called EthanKleinLive.com. Yeah. You've been living under a rock for a little bit. We're talking cherry. We're talking cherry. All right, let's continue.
Goodness gracious, he's down there with the Titanic, and this is what is turning in for the Republican Party. That result on Tuesday night was a Titanic proportion, just absolutely awful result. New Jersey, Virginia, Pennsylvania, in terms of those judgeships, those Supreme Court judgeships, essentially, retaining those judges. All the Democratic line candidates won. Democrats won their first statewide races that weren't federal in Georgia for the first time in a generation. What we are talking about at this particular point is Donald Trump is absolutely a drag. I spoke about it on Monday. That's what we thought was going to happen, and that is exactly what did happen. Donald Trump at this point is an absolute drag on these Republican candidates. We saw it on Tuesday night, and nationally I expect that result to hold because at this point Donald Trump is at his term 2 lows.
You're talking about the Titanic. Democrats, before this, right, were on the Titanic. Their approval ratings lower than Republicans. What does that all mean?
Okay.
Well, to be clear, people still hate Democrats. They just hate Trump a little bit less. They hate Democrats because Democrats aren't willing to fight, and they hate Trump because it's Trump. Also, holy shit, was that 2 tomatoes? Fuck you guys. Thank you, but fuck you.
What does that all mean, right? I think there are a lot of Republicans saying, okay, Donald Trump ain't that popular, but the Democrats aren't popular either. And those Democratic low favorable ratings, those will save us. Well, we had a test of that on Tuesday night. So what do we see here? Okay, vote for the Democratic nominee. View neither party favorably. Here's the margin. Look at this in New Jersey. If you viewed neither party favorably in New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill won that vote by 66 points. How about in Virginia? Abigail Spanberger won that vote by 56 points. It doesn't necessarily matter, it turns out, that the Democrats are viewed that unfavorably, because amongst those who like neither party.
Well, the bigger problem is that people dislike Democrats as a whole. And when they say that, they mean establishment Democrats, not individuals. Like, they should be, so many more Democrats should be, the only party more concerned about Mamdani's win other than Republicans should be the Democrats, because the Democrats are about to start getting primary to absolute shit when they see because there's so many people right now that are going to see that Mamdani's win, Mamdani just going all the way in on democratic socialism and not being afraid of the word, means a lot more people are going to be doing this type of stuff. I'm not sure. Obviously, there's Kat Abdel and there's Mamdani. I obviously Virginia's race, obviously New Jersey's race, but even stuff like this, Zohran's win showed it. Organized people beats organized money every time. I'm running to unseat Diana DeGette, a 30-year-old incumbent who's taken almost $6 million from Big Pharma and Big Energy. It's time for a new generation of leaders who aren't afraid to fight for housing first, Medicare for all, and getting big money out of our politics. Denver, it's our turn. Like, Democrats should be absolutely sweating at the fact that after so many years of refusing to do what the party wants, people are going to start primarying these old-ass fuckers.
Every morning when I leave home to open up the coffee shop, I get to see the Denver sunrise. I see my neighbors as they start their days with hope and grit, but these days, it's hard to feel the sun shining on my city. Life is too expensive. The economy is in crisis. Donald Trump is acting like a dictator, and we're not even halfway through his first year. I'm a proud Democrat, but these days I don't have a lot to be proud of. We hear politicians say over and over that we need bold leadership, progress, and change. We've heard this for years, decades, but they never deliver. We need leaders who won't just talk about fighting for us. I'm Mailat Kiros. I'm running for Congress to be a Democrat that delivers on the change we've been asking for. To be like the Democrats that fought to give us Social Security, fair labor laws, the Civil Rights Act, who had a bold vision and followed through. Politics is broken. Our voices aren't heard. Our party isn't fighting back like they should. Why? Money and politics. Right now, Congress doesn't actually represent us. They represent their large donors and corporate lobbyists. We need Democrats who recognize the problem and have the energy and will to stand up for us and fight back. As the daughter of immigrants who moved here from Tigray, Ethiopia to build a better life, I know what it takes to never give up. As someone who's working as a barista to pay for school and healthcare, I know what it's like to work so hard to get ahead while Washington is so behind. I'll fight for a more affordable, safer city. I'll stand up to special interests. And I'll take the fight right to Trump and anyone who stands in our way. Raising the minimum wage, universal health care, getting big money out of our politics and back into our pockets. I'm running to
I'm not joking when I say establishment Democrats should be really concerned about Mamdani's win, and they should start either caving to the demands of their constituents, aka doing their fucking jobs, or be ready to get the fuck out. Because they will get primaried and people will vote for the people. Because a big part also, you have to think about voter mentality. People don't want to go out and vote for someone they feel like is going to lose, right? I remember this pissed me off so hardcore, but a big problem that I had with fake progressives is what I'm going to call them during Bernie's run for presidency was so many people being like, well, he just never would win. He just can't win. It just is not going to happen. And it's like, well, it's not going to happen because people like you keep saying it's not going to happen. That's why, because you're not motivated enough. It's like, well, I don't think he's going to win. So then he doesn't win. And it's the same thing sort of happening here, or not happening here. The opposite is happening. Or because people saw how hardcore Mamdani won and how much money he raised and how effective he was at communicating everything that he wanted to communicate and how much fucking motion he had, I think it motivates a lot of people to go out there and start primarying, people who are actually interested in working a job in politics, being a politician. It motivates those people because they feel like they'll actually get traction as long as they run on a people-first progressive policy or progressive ticket or campaign. And then other people are more likely to vote for them because they think that they have a chance in winning.
New generation of Democrats that won't rest, won't stop until we finish the job. So join us. The sun will rise on our city again when we rise together.
I might be butchering this name. Mailat Kiros for Congress in Colorado's 1st District. So pretty huge. But I anticipate this, absolutely. Clock it. Easy prediction. I anticipate this everywhere across the country. At least in blue states and blue cities, we are going to start seeing this everywhere because people are tired. People are tired of Chuck Schumer. People are tired of Hakeem Jeffries. I would say people are tired of Pelosi, but Pelosi finally caught the hint and she's now retiring. I'm getting emotional. It reminds me of Bug's Life when the grasshoppers realized that together the ants are so much stronger. This guy ran in the New York City race, mayoral race, and is running to primary Torres. The ad goes hard. I'm running for Congress because the people of the Bronx deserve better than Richie Torres. I'm ready to fight for you and lower your cost of living while Richie fights for genocide. I will focus on the affordable housing and books, as Richie will only focus on APEC and BB. I will invest in the community. Richie wants to invest in bombs. I want to end credit scores for housing. Richie only wants to take credit. We cannot afford any more of Richie Rich Torres. We need change now. 23,000 likes, 2 million views on Twitter is crazy.
Days.
Let me press play. This is Michael Blake.
And as I was living in these slum conditions, the city was spending more than $100 million on a golf course.
Richie Torres invested in weapon makers.
Was just exposed for secretly investing in genocide.
All these things I'm seeing about Richie Torres.
Since 2021, Richie Torres has represented New York's 15th congressional district, the poorest congressional district in America. In 2025, Richie has nearly $15 million.
15 million from APEC is crazy.
On hand, largely from APEC, while many of his constituents barely have $15 to get by. So he spent the last 15 days hearing from the people about why they are ready for a change.
I saw Richie Torres on
Adam Friedland.
I know he suffered, but what happens to you is you get off. Yep. It is so hard to keep your moral.
We watched that interview. It was a goated interview. I love the Hulk. I love Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo turned me into a Marvel enjoyer. That's how powerful Mark Ruffalo is. That's how powerful of a progressive Mark Ruffalo is.
Integrity, once you start taking the money.
He profited from it.
He talks about that place far more often than he talks about the Bronx.
You were criticized for Blackstone donation, the architects of the housing crisis.
What? Also, what what a fucking idiot Richie Torres is for getting on Adam Friedland's show. Like, did you think Adam Friedland was going to be like a homie to you? He's giving Alyssa Slotkin going on Crystal Ball show.
A asshole.
You cannot be a representative in the city of New York and you talk like that.
Richie Torres sucks.
Not as long as
Richie Torres is a white motherfucker. Richie Torres cares more about BB than he cares about the Bronx. More about APEC than he does about your academics. So do you want to stay with someone who only wants to care about himself? Or do you want to have someone in me and Michael Blake who actually wants to care for the people? I'm reimagining what the city can look like. I'm named after Jamaican prime ministers, Michael Manley, Alexander Bustamante. Grew up Crested and Burnside. Remember the days back in the day when you go to Woolworths to go shop, Skate Key, go kick it.
Whose track record has spoken for itself for years.
So when we think about why elect me, think about cost of living and affordability.
We can give people a better chance.
Think about a new vision when it comes to education.
I rolled out an extensive education plan.
And lastly, show the vision of how we can bring real change to the district. It is time for us to tell Richie Torres that he can go on his own way. And it's time for change, and it's time for a new day.
You see, he went on Jon Stewart and looked just as bad. I mean, Jon Stewart's an even worse option. Like, hello? He should just win for the dope OG hip-hoppy. Honestly, true. So, yeah. He's kind of giving... He kind of has, like, the same vibe and motion as, like, Idris Elba low-key. Is that just me? Maybe it's just me. Sorry, looking at something. Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned young voters, and I want to drill down even more on the demographic and talk about male voters ages 18 to 29 and look at the way that they came out according to our exit poll, David. Mikey Sherrill, 57%.
Whoever just donated, fuck you.
7%. Spamberger in New Jersey, excuse me, Spamberger in Virginia. It was a long night, 56%. Mamdani, 68%. And then compare it to 2024 nationwide, 58% for Donald Trump.
Yeah, and again, you know, nationwide is not these bluer places, right? So there's some of that, but I mean, Mamdani courted this cohort of young men. I think he won them by 40 points against Andrew Cuomo, again, inside that very blue territory, but it is still revealing. This is young men, Latinos. These are demographic groups that Donald Trump made gains in and powered him to really I mean, New Jersey was a place where he had narrowed his loss to just 6 points last year because of Latinos, young men, and the like that he made gains with. And you just saw last night, those gains were not permanent with Donald Trump not on the ballot and after 10 months of this term. That was given back to the Democratic Party.
And in terms of the 10 months of this term, one of the factors that could be a good data point that is instructive is the question of Trump's immigration enforcement, whether it has gone too far.
Dude, I need you to fix your shit, CNN. I need you to fix your audio, CNN. I'm sorry. The first 2 times I was willing to look past it. Fix your goddamn fucking shit.
A question asked of Latino voters. 76% of Latino voters said yes in Virginia, 59% in New Jersey.
Yeah, and I think this is really telling because this issue, the issue of the border, Trump was clearly winning on, right? And Joe Biden was clearly losing on that issue. But to have this kind of a swing and to really get our first sort of sense of understanding of what the optics of this are really going to mean, the sort of basic truth, it seems, in American politics, and, you know, David, you've covered so many presidential elections, is that the electorate...
Low-key, it is a little funny to say this. Bernie and Zohran doing numbers with young men. Will the Dems learn the lesson? I doubt it. The funniest thing about this is that, like, Zohran didn't even mention young men. Like, he didn't mention it at all in his campaign, even a little bit. There's this, like, hyper focus on, like, the Democrats have to position themselves for young men and talk about young men. And then they ignore, and especially the Democrats love to talk about, like, white young men. And then they totally ignore that there are people other than young white men that will vote. And this hyper focus actually is harmful for the Democrats. Whereas if they were just willing to put, like, a class conscious message forward, they would win. Just talking about affordability, that would win them races. But they just refuse to do that. It turns out young men have the same problems as everyone else. Yep. Dude, can I just say, chat, like, I will say this is definitely a little bit of a terminally online situation. And I've even noticed it myself. Because tell me why I went to do my jury duty. And every single person who was there at jury duty, for some reason you have to, like, disclose a bunch of information. Almost every single person that spoke, it was like except 2 people, said that they were married. I was like, whoa. And it's because when you're online, it's like all you see is everyone talking about young men, everyone talking about how young men are lonely, about, like, the male loneliness epidemic, about all of this stuff. And it's like, the reality is just be normal for long enough, and guess what? You'll find another normal person. And that this hyper focus actually ends up taking away from messages that will reach a lot of people. To be clear, chatter, I'm not, like, shitting on you in any way. That's not my intention. Even a little bit. Exactly. I'm just talking about my opinions and using you as, like, your message is like a bouncing board. You've been around for a year, so it means you have to be doing something right as a chatter. I'm doomed. I literally didn't vote until last year because the Dems sucked every year. I've been able to vote 27 and women. You're 27 and women? Like, you're 27 and a woman? Is that what you mean? Yeah, I mean, it's not a very motivating message to go out there and vote for not the other guy. Let me see if I can find. Wait, what is this on my timeline? Hold up. Thinking this every single time a conservative clutches their pearls over getting a single taste of their own medicine.
You liberals are so sensitive, and none of you deserve any rights. Your body, my choice. Your body, my choice. I hope the government gets rid of all of you. Fuck you? Wow, so much for the tolerant left. I thought you guys were all about loving each other. You know, I believe that we can disagree and still be friends. Do you?
No, but actually, when you tell conservatives that they can fuck off and you don't like them, they're like, wow, and you guys are supposed to be the kind party. It's like, here's you tweeting a picture of yourself in blackface. Here's you talking about how women should lose the right to vote. Here's you talking about how much you hate trans people. No, I don't like you, actually. No, I'm not going to be nice to you. Fuck you. What are you talking about? Let me see. Wait.
Last night, various elections swept across America, including in the Big Apple, where political underdog Zohran Mamdani defeated Andrew Cuomo for mayor of New York City, drawing the ire of President Trump among many Democratic and Republican politicians. Your comment is Senator Robert C. Entris. Senator, many are calling Mamdani's populist, strongly left messaging the future of the party. What say you?
I say this is a great day for Democrats, with all the various elections and so forth.
And what about Mayor-elect Mamdani?
What about him?
What are your thoughts on his victory?
Exactly.
Based on polling, young Democrats are overwhelmingly enthusiastic about him and his left-leaning policies. Look, the kid is talent, and it's a terribly great that he's having such a devastatingly positive impact on the young, impressionable future of this country. Voters cite his emphasis on affordability as a key reason he won the election. I heard that voters like when you talk about the concept of hope and various hope-related, dream-oriented, hope-related goals. Hope goals. We have hope that a future is hopeful and hope is hopeful. Senator, are you worried for New York? No. If Mr. Mamdani wasn't such a scary guy, maybe people would be talking about hope instead of how they can't afford rent or whatever. Sorry, do you not support the mayor-elect? That is a great question. How will he support Israel? That's not what I was, this means nothing to me. It's just like, it's like whatever.
No, but actually, like, how do you not see the absolutely massive win and then say like, yeah, that guy has no future in the Democratic Party? Interesting. Okay. Sounds like cope to me. Sounds like copium to me. All right, let me pull this up.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Democrats have not had a night like last night in a long time. And the message sent to Donald Trump and the Republican Party and to the entire political world was loud and clear if anyone cares to listen. These infographics from the New York Times, they've become familiar. They run these often, right? Comparing voting trends from last year's presidential election to last night. And it's a map, right? You see both the states, New Jersey, Virginia, county by county by county. Every blue arrow you see on that map there is an area that voted more for the Democrats than it did just last year. Oh. And as you can see, it's basically all blue arrows.
No.
Like all throughout the state.
Oh, dude, it's so brutal. Oh, it's so brutal.
Because
You mean to tell me saying Americans are going to starve because we're not renewing SNAP benefits and veterans will lose their jobs because we don't give a shit and we will be zip tying children who are naked when our Gestapo thugs come to take away the brown people that weren't even in the building? You mean to tell me that that's not a winning party message? Wow, that's so weird. I can't believe that. I'm really shocked by that. Man,
Tonight, everything shifted towards the Democrats and away from Donald Trump. They swept practically every single race up and down the ballot across the country. The Democratic roll began with an early call in Virginia, where Democrat Abigail Spanberger is winning by 15 points.
Wait, one's if you've seen this video, two's if you haven't seen it. It's this is captioned "Conservatives doing the whole hope women are ready for Sharia law thing after Mamdani got elected. Meanwhile, they're begging to strip women of every right they can think of."
Is it good that women can vote in America?
It's like, we're really starting strong, dude. You need to be able to you need to be able to pass some type of aptitude test in order to be a male podcaster. Like, if you are a man who wants to podcast, you need to have some like credentials initially before you begin. You have to. I'm going to be on LSF. Denims confirm misandrous thinks only men should have to take aptitude tests.
Okay. I don't think so, and here's why. Nearly every legalized moral atrocity of the last 100 years was made possible by the female vote. Abortion and homosexuality would likely still be illegal if not for the female vote. Mass immigration and
based women?
The welfare state rode on the backs of the female vote.
Based women?
Nearly every modern Democrat, including Obama and Biden, were elected because of the female vote.
Based women, holy shit, women's rights. Oh my God, yes, yes.
But even last night, the new Muslim New York City mayor, Mamdani, won...
Mamdani, you're not even trying, dude. Fuck you.
Because of the female vote. Even last night, the new Muslim New York City mayor, Mamdani, won specifically because of the female vote. The 19th Amendment has been a moral and political tragedy for America.
Oh, that's amazing. That's incredible.
But why? Women were not made to lead, but to follow and...
Dude, I love when this type of man, this type of man tells women that they are not made to lead, when this is the exact type of man that thinks that men should join the military and follow orders from another man. It's like, listen, man, I'm going to be honest with you. You're cooked, you're fried, you're baked. There's nothing there.
To feel. This is God's design, and it's good within the family and the household. But emotions cannot be what is used to rule and govern a nation.
But my emotions about how I feel should. What a fucking idiot. Claude, thank you so much.
The rules are gone, people.
They're gone. Thank you for the 20 gift subs.
Statistically and generally speaking, women vote for whatever feels most kind or peaceful or safe to their emotions. Women crave security and comfort, and whoever promises those things wins their loyalty. The problem is evil men know this and they exploit it. For example, women are twice as likely to men to be seduced into an affair. They are 26.
I like how women have no authority or like no autonomy in any of this. Women are the reason why we have immigration, why we have welfare, why we have gay rights, but also they have no autonomy and they have to be tricked by men into having an affair. My wife isn't having sex with someone else because she wants to. It's not that I've never given my wife an orgasm and that's why she's cheating on me. It's that another man tricked her into thinking that he would give her one. And maybe he did give her one, but I don't believe that because my bitch wife can't have orgasms. I would know. I tried for 30 seconds. All right. Keep posting. Keep posting. Yes.
6% more likely to be financially scammed online. They are 3 times more likely to fall prey to psychics and tarot card readings. And
tarot card readings is so funny. When men literally watch Andrew Tate. When men overwhelmingly watch Asmongold. Like, listen, okay? Yes. And here's the thing, too. If you talk to women who like all of the astrology stuff, or they like tarot cards, or they like X, Y, or Z thing or whatever, right? You'll find really quickly if you push them on it, because as someone who doesn't believe in astrology, and as someone who doesn't really believe in like any mystical stuff, anything mystical, I've spoken to women, I've been like, what do you think about this, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you actually believe it? And every single one, and I'm sure that there are instances where the answer is no, will say, obviously nothing is going to triumph free will. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. That's obviously true. And there's no guarantee any of it's real. But I do stuff that makes me feel good and it makes me happy. And it's not hurting anyone. So yeah. I obviously don't believe that the stars are literally aligning in such a way that will give me guaranteed luck for the next week. But it makes me feel good. It's like the same people who do like manifesting with crystals or whatever. Whereas if you actually talk to, not the crazy like shungite people, but like the majority of women who believe in some level of this stuff, they'll tell you, I don't think that there is necessarily some magical power in this crystal, in this quartz, but it helps me focus my intentions and my goals for the day. And, I'm like, yeah, today I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to manifest and I'm going to do everything I want to do. It's just like a form of meditative or like meditation or like putting yourself in like a meditative state, right? That's like in my experience, I'm just speaking anecdotally, okay? But in my experience, like 90% plus women that like some of this stuff, that's their experience about it. Even people I know who like, they'll do tarot card readings. They're like, I don't think that the tarot cards necessarily have to mean anything, but I think if they do mean something, it helps you understand things that maybe you haven't been thinking about. So like most of these cards, I don't really believe that the cards are special, but if it helps you think about these things that you've been avoiding and it helps you realign yourself and refocus your goals, then it's helpful. If you feel really defeated by something and the tarot cards say like, yeah, you are going through a hard time and you've been going through a hard time and you're going to overcome it, then that's great. Like, how does that not help someone? Right? So anywho.
Astrology and mediums, the same emotional vulnerability that shows up there also shows up in politics. Many call it suicidal empathy. So I believe that we should return to the household vote, where women share their thoughts with their fathers or their husbands, and the men in their life make the final decision.
Listen, I'm just going to say, most of the time, men thinking they're making the final decision, they've actually been incepted into making the final decision. I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. I've seen it so many times. I'm sorry. Not all men have been incepted. Just a lot of the men that I've seen have been, they're like, this is my idea. Meanwhile, you can see like the wife evilly smiling in the background like, your idea. Mm-hmm.
They're not perfect, but they are far more fit to rule with logic, and they are less likely to be deceived in political matters. So, I don't...
Men less likely to be deceived is crazy. It's crazy.
Believe that we should repeal the 19th Amendment because I don't love women. I believe we should repeal the 19th Amendment because I love America and I love American women enough to protect them and our nation from their political exploitation.
My favorite thing about all this shit is that there's literally no science to back any of this stuff, but they still peddle this garbage because it's how they feel. Like there have been no developments in neuro science, like any type of neurological developments that have shown that women's brains are so fundamentally different that they don't have the same like capabilities for logic. There's no data. There's literally no data that shows any of this. There's data that shows that, like, I think it's like women are better at like mentally sorting things and men are better at like these like specific unique little tasks. Men tend to be maybe a little bit better in this one, and then women tend to be a little bit better in this one. But there's no data that shows that women are incompetent or incapable of like using their brain to develop thoughts that are original or unique or informative of something in some way. But then these dudes will always be like, well, I feel like women can't make the right decisions, so what I feel is going to be what is the law. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, bro, I know you can't even do laundry. Why are you yapping about who should be able to vote? Please. Oh my God. Men are just so much more logical. Gets into more car accidents. Or sorry, gets into more lethal car accidents. Oh, okay. Interesting. I just logically killed myself in the car. It's like there's literally a subreddit called, what is it, Why Men Die Sooner or something like that? Because men are so logical.
Is it good that women can vote?
Sorry, I don't know why I was press play on that again. Anywho.